having a backup plan when you're on an insulin pump is very important because life happens and we're not always in control. We may run out of supplies or maybe we're traveling. So this video is to help you be ready and to have your own backup plan. And of course, you can get a backup plan with your diabetes educator or your endocrinologist. But in case you don't have access to a diabetes team, this is how you can create your own backup plan. So with an insulin pump, you're using rapid acting insulin for the basal, but just those little tiny microdoses. And then, of course, bolusing for your meals or for correction. If you don't have access to your pump, then you will need a long-acting insulin. And long-acting could be Tresiba, Toujeo, Lantus, Levemir, Basaglar. Any of those are long-acting insulins, and they last in your body anywhere from about 20 to 42 hours. But the ones used most often are Tresiba, Toujeo, Lantus. So you want to make sure that you have a long-acting insulin. And when you receive your long-acting insulin, it should stay good up to the expiration, and usually that's 2 years after you've received it. However, if you puncture the long-acting insulin, then it could be as little as 52 days. So your long-acting insulin is replacing your basal with your pump. So what I would do as a diabetes educator is I would go into the pump, look at your 14-day average of insulin used. You can look at your basal amount. You will take that basal but take that much with your long-acting insulin. For example, let's say that you go into your pump and you look at your 14-day average and it says that you're using 22 units for your basal, then that's the amount that you would use for your long-acting insulin. And with the backup plan, when you take that long-acting insulin, you want to wait 24 hours before you go back onto your pump, or at least resuming that basal back on your pump again. So that's for your background insulin, because we need insulin for our background and for meals. For the meal side, that's where we need to look at your carb ratio and your correction factor. You can look at these settings in your pump as well. It's going to be in the bolus settings, and your carb ratio just stands for 1 unit covers this many grams of carbohydrates. So for example, if you go into your bolus settings and you hit your carb ratio, it will say from this time to this time, it's 1 unit for every this many grams. And you might have several different carb ratios throughout the day. So I would take the highest number because that's going to be the least aggressive. And again, this is getting you through until you can get back to your supplies, back to your pump. So let's say that from 12 a.m. till 6 a.m. you have a 1 to 10, but from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. you have a 1 to 8. And then the next segment after that, it's a 1 to 7.5. So the lowest number would be that 1 to 10, but that's usually overnight. You would never use that carb ratio. So what I would use would just be that 1 to 8. And that is 1 unit for every 8 grams of carbohydrates. So if you were eating, for easy math, let's say that you're eating 80 grams of carbohydrates, you would take 10 units. Now let's talk about your correction factor or your insulin sensitivity factor. This is 1 unit of rapid acting insulin, brings your blood sugar down this many points or milligrams per deciliter. So you'll likely have a target blood sugar in your pump. As a dietitian, I like to use a target of 150 when somebody is off of their pump. That is often a little bit higher than what people are used to. But again, this is just to keep you safe. And you'll see under your bolus settings as well, insulin sensitivity factor or correction factor will show you how much 1 unit will bring your blood sugar down for correction. So this number, let's say that it says 1 to 50 the majority of the day. If your blood sugar was 200 and we're setting your target at 150 and your correction factor is 1 unit for every 50, that means that you would take 1 unit to bring your blood sugar down from 200 to 150. Now let's say that you're also eating. So let's say you're eating those 80 grams of carbohydrates and your blood sugar was 200. You would take 1 unit to bring your blood sugar from 200 back to 150, and you would take 8 units because you're eating 80 grams of carbohydrates. So that would be 9 units total for your meal and for the high blood sugar. On the flip side, if your blood sugar was low, let's say your blood sugar was 100, and that's not low, but depending on the person, it might be a little low. So let's say that your blood sugar was 100 and your goal was 150 and you were still eating 80 grams of carbohydrates, then you would take 1 less unit because you're 50 points below your target. So 100 to 150 is one less unit. You're taking 8 units for the 80 grams of carbohydrates. So 8 minus 1 equals 7. Hopefully that is helpful, and you can follow us at Above Diabetes for more tips about diabetes education.